I've pulled together 10 of my best genealogy research tricks and tips for your family history research. These are specific to Ancestry and FamilySearch. Now, these weren't just my ideas. These were the ones that you were watching the most. So I went and I did all the algorithm studying and finding out where you guys were watching the most. And I pulled the top pieces that you seem to enjoy the most. So we're going to talk about those here in just a moment. But hey, if this is your first time here, my name is Connie Knox. I am a lifelong genealogist here to help you go further, faster, and factually with your family history research. Now, again, this is part 2. Part 1's link is in the show notes below. Now, today we're going to be talking about floating trees, fixing mistakes on Ancestry, how to use 2 computer screens for your genealogy workflow, grouping your DNA matches on Ancestry, and finding records on FamilySearch and really kind of where to find them the best. Now, all right, so there are handouts for this, and the handout information will be at the end of the program, so stick around for that. Well, hey, let's just get started. So here we are over at the computer, and we're going to talk about how we can create this floating tree. Now, what you're seeing here is one of my trees. As you can see, this is the Henley Knox family tree, and we're going to create a floating tree that exists all by itself within this file. So I'm not going to have to go up here and create another tree. I'm just going to create it within this tree. So this is a 3-step process. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new person and attach it to this tree, and then we're going to disconnect it from this tree, and then we're going to show you how to find that floating tree in your Ancestry workspace here, and then I've got a little bonus tip there at the end to help you find it a little easier. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to pick on Mary Jane Money here. It doesn't matter who I create this first profile. So the idea is I'm going to create that profile of my friend. We're going to create this friend, okay? So let's pretend for a moment. Now we're working on a research project and we keep seeing this friend pop up, or we're assuming it's a friend. We don't know. We keep seeing this name pop up, and this person keeps popping up in different records. And so we're going to trace this person so that we can have a better understanding of how this person relates to our ancestors. Okay, so we're going to create this profile, but we can attach it to anybody in the tree. It really doesn't matter who we attach it to, because we're going to turn around and disconnect it just as soon as we attach it. So we're going to use Mary Jane Money because she is just close. And so what we need to do is click into her profile. And once we're in her profile, we can add a person. You've got the add button right here. We can add a person. It doesn't matter who we add. It really doesn't, because we're going to turn around and disconnect that relationship. So let's just create a son. Okay, so I'm going to call this person friend, and I'm going to call the last name Test. So I absolutely know that this is bogus. And the person is male and is deceased. It really doesn't matter, okay? So note that it's attaching also to the parents. So we need to pay attention to that. All right, so this is going to end up being a son of Mary Jane Money. If we take a look at Mary Jane Money and we scroll down, we see that this new person is attached here. So now what we want to do is go to the friend, the test person that I'm creating here. So this is going to be the person that you are tracing. This is a fan club member. And what we want to do is we want to go up to edit, and we want to edit relationships. So now we're going to disconnect friend Test from everybody in the tree. So once we're here, it shows that he has a father who's biological. We're going to hit this X to remove that relationship. See, we're editing the relationships. We're going to remove Mary Jane Money. Remove. So now there's nobody left in this list. Our person named friend Test is no longer associated with anybody. So if we come over here and we view it in the tree, we can see that this person is sitting out here all by themselves. They're floating in space in your same tree. This is the same tree I've been working in, but this person is detached. Hey, we're going to get back to that video here in just a moment, but I want to let you know that Genealogy TV has a website, a newsletter, and a Facebook page. Links for all of that are in the show notes below. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so we're back, and we're going to talk about the right and wrong ways to link, unlink, and merge duplicates. Guys, this Exum Davis father was Joel Davis. Just keep that in the back of your mind for a moment. So if we refresh the tree, now he's gone. We go back to the profile, and we can add a father back in. So let's pretend, oh no, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to remove him. Or let's pretend you're just adding a new father that may already be in your tree. So if we go to hit add father and we just type Exum Davis to kind of put him back in, it's going to pre-populate with the surname. And we hit save. What happens is we actually duplicated this guy. We didn't find the guy that was already in our tree. And we can prove this to ourselves by going back to the tree. And let's refresh just for a moment. There's Exum Davis, but Joel Davis, his father's not there. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. That might be one clue that we grabbed the wrong guy or we added someone new. If we go over to tree and we type the word Exum, and I picked this guy particularly because he has a unique name, we can see that we have two Exum Davises now. And so one of the things that you need to be careful of is if you have, say, a Robert Davis, probably a very common name, you could have 4 or 5 of these Robert Davises in here. And so one of the things that you really need to be careful is that you are not going to get rid of somebody that really should be there. So just as an exercise, we can see here that we now have duplicated Exum Davises. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is that you do you. This is my workflow, but you do what works for you, okay? So one of the first things I want to talk about is your workspace. Make sure that your desk is nice and clean, and if you can afford to do it, have a second or even a third monitor. Now, I inherited my husband's monitor. That's the top one that you see there. But I started out with 2 screens, and the reason I have 2 screens is because I can put my research tree, like what I'm working on, I can put the tree on one side, and then I can put all of the hunting, pecking, and looking and researching on the other side, so I can keep referencing the other tree and, you know, kind of have 2 things going at once. Now, what's really cool about having a third screen is it just gives you a ton of real estate. You can put your research notes up top. You can, you know, put other documents that you find that you want to reference on a different screen. So I will leave links in the show notes about some of the monitors that I use here. I actually have 2 different monitors. This is an Acer, this is a ViewSonic, and up here is an LG. So I kind of have a mix and match, but they're all working great, and I love it. I will never go back to a single monitor again. Here, I usually just right-click and hit Display Settings, and it takes me right to this screen. And here you can see that I have the 3 monitors hooked up here, and you can actually rearrange these. You can move them around however you want. I like it like this. And if you're not sure which screen is which, you can hit the identify. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see that. Let me hit it again. You can see the 1, 2, and 3 on the screen. And then what you do is you scroll down and you click this down here. It says extend my desktop to display, right? You can duplicate desktop on 1 and 2. You can duplicate desktop 2 and 3. But this is what you want. Extend my desktop to these displays. You go to the DNA tab at the top of the screen and you drop down, you hit cousin matches. This is where it goes. Now this is an unfiltered list right now. It has everybody in it, and I have clearly blurred out some of the people in here so that we can maintain some privacy. But as I scroll down, one of the things that you're going to do when you're grouping your DNA cousin matches is you're going to look for your best known cousin. on that line that you're researching. So here, my best known match on that Madsen-Johnson line is Carol here. Okay, so when we go and we look at Carol, what we're going to do is we're going to look at Carol, we're going to look at her shared matches so that we can see who's shared with me, and then we're going to color code them, and you can see the color codes along the side, which represents different lines of the family. Okay, so if we jump over to my relationship here with Carol, we can see that she is listed as a first to second cousin. The reality is she is a first cousin once removed, so that's why she kind of falls in that bucket. And that we have in common Herman and Frances Johnson. Now, a lot of times you may not have a common ancestor listed. You may, at this point, when you're just clicking on a cousin, they might not have anything in their tree. But in this case, Carol does, so it shows up. Now, Carol and I, we know, and thank you, Carol, for letting me use you in the videos. We know that Carol and I both descend from the Madsen line, the Madsen-Johnson line. So if we click on the Shared Matches tool, we're going to get a list of everybody that Carol and I have DNA in common with, okay? And so, again, we're using our best known match to help separate out all of those DNA cousins from the rest. So when we click on the Shared Matches tool, we get a list of everybody that shares DNA with me and Carol. Now, in the previous episode, I think I said something along the lines of everybody in this list has to descend from that Madsen-Johnson couple. And that's not exactly true. What I meant to say was everybody descends through that couple. Okay, so when we scroll down and we look at, and I'm going to explain more about what that means in a minute, but when we scroll down and we look at the DNA cousins, for example, second to third cousins, then those second to third cousins have to be a great-grandparent in common, but if they're third cousins, they would be a great-great-grandparent in common. And let me demonstrate that again. So over here on the tree, if we have If this is the great-grandparent line, then second cousins would descend from this couple, but third cousins would descend from either this couple or this couple, okay? I will go and search the FamilySearch wiki. Oh my gosh, if you're not familiar with the FamilySearch wiki, you should be. Again, you can research by location, and you can learn about all of the records and all of the details that you are looking for in the area in which you're researching. For example, we were looking at West Virginia. So let's go ahead and look at West Virginia. If you notice, I keep drilling down through the map because it's easy and it's very visual, and it also helps give me some clues. Now, I know that she was from Wayne County, West Virginia, so I'm going to click on Wayne County, and I'm going to keep drilling in, and now I'm getting information about the location of my ancestor, and this is something you really should be doing on every search. This allows you to understand the border changes for the county. It gives you an idea where the courthouse is. It gives you all kinds of information. Definitely dig into the FamilySearch wiki for the locations that you are searching. Again, I'm still focused on this one person, so I want to learn a lot about what's going on in Wayne County, West Virginia. Hey, there was 10 tips in all between part 1 and part 2. Tell me in the comment sections which ones did you like the most. Hey, and if you missed part 1, there is a link in the description box below the video on the YouTube channel. All right, all the links are in the show notes below. So happy binge watching. It is time to go learn some more genealogy. All right, until next time, see ya. There are 3 ways you can get the handouts. Now, the first way is to join the channel membership here at the information access level channel membership on the YouTube channel, and then go to the community tab and you'll find the posts that have the handout links in there. All you have to do is follow the link and download the handouts. Okay, now the second way is over at Patreon. Now at Patreon, if you're at the Happy Dance level or higher, you can get the handouts those come directly to you in an email every time we announce the new video that has a handout with it. You'll also get early release with that membership. All right, and then the third way is just to go over to genealogytv.org and click on the handouts tab, and you can find all the handouts there for individual purchase. So I hope that was helpful. The handouts really do support the channel, and for that I thank you.